Jesus was a man. Jesus was a man. And we can read from Acts chapter 2, verse number 22. You men of Israel, hear these words. Jesus of Nazareth, a man approved of God, among you by miracles and wonders and signs, which God did by him in the midst of you, as you yourselves also know. So we have just read that Jesus was a man. So how do we know that Jesus was a man? That's the question. How do we know that Jesus was a man? Number one, Jesus was a man because he was born. The birth of Jesus was a normal birth like any other human beings. The uniqueness was in his conception. It was a virgin conception. It needed no man to fertilize an egg for him to form. However, his birth was normal pregnancy that took 9 months, just like any other pregnancy occurs in women. Number 2, Jesus was a man because he was tempted like us. Some of you may ask, how could he be tempted like us, yet he had no natural sin like us? He was tempted from without, us from within. How could we be tempted? The temptation of the married, of the parents, of the aged, yet he was an unmarried young man. How could he understand the temptation of women, yet he was a man? How could he understand the temptation of 21st century civilized cities, yet he lived in remote 1st century Palestine? These are genuine questions that a person may ask. However, all temptations of man are centered around the principles that Satan uses against Jesus. Number one, he was tempted to disobey God by turning stones into bread. This is denying God's provisions. He was to reject God's mode or method of provision. He was to test his power just as the power of God. Disobeying will have made him strive with God. It will have brought a competition between Jesus and the Father. He was tempted to doubt God's ability to keep himself by jumping from the temple rooftop. He was to test God's efficiency and angels' power to reach and rescue and secure him on time. Finally, he was tempted to deny God by worshipping Satan. After Satan had shown him the kingdoms and wanted to hand them over to him, as long as Jesus